I'm Bruce Elliott, and I'm honored to serve as the ceremony leader this morning as we gather to recognize 25 American patriots who are sitting among us this morning. We ask that all who are able please rise now and remain standing through the invocation. Post the colors.
Left, pink. Order,
Comrade Lamb, please place the POW MIA flag on the empty chair. We do this as a reminder for all of us to spare no effort to secure the release of any American prisoners from captivity, along with the repatriation of the remains of those who've died bravely in defense of liberty and a full accounting of those still missing. And now I ask our friend and vocalist David Moore to lead us all in the singing of the national anthem. David.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, David. I now call on Eagle Scout Ethan Meskel to lead us in a Pledge of Allegiance. Ethan?
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
order,
And now Rabbi Becca from the Farmington Valley Jewish Congregation, Emek Shalom, will provide an invocation for us. Rabbi Becca.
Compassionate God, this morning we honor those who fight to protect the dignity and freedom of humanity. Let our souls soar with pride for them. Let our hearts be filled with compassion and gratitude for their selflessness, and let our minds grant them the honor and respect they deserve. May we never let down those who serve in defense of this country. May we defend the freedom we hold so dear and the inherent dignity of every human being by our own right conduct and by the abundant kindness and tolerance we show to one another. May we lead the world by example and become, in the words of Isaiah, a light to the nations. Then will the labors and sacrifices of these veterans be honored not in words alone, but by our deeds. We join together on this sacred day to thank these peacekeepers for this free nation. O source of mercy, allow us the opportunity to see the day when war shall cease and no more lives shall be sacrificed in the name of peace. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Welcome to all attending this special ceremony, celebrating a group of Simsbury residents who served our country during wartime. They represent the millions who have answered America's call to arms over 2.5 centuries, from Lexington and Concord to the present-day wars on the frontiers of freedom in Western Asia. Our intent this morning is to present each one of them with a Connecticut Wartime Service Medal as a symbol that their service will not be forgotten. They've earned the gratitude of their fellow citizens and the distinction the medal represents. As we begin our program, I want to thank everyone who's been involved in organizing for today. John Hampton and his legislative staff member Jason Knight are at the top of the list, along with the good people from the Connecticut Department of Veterans Affairs. Logistics for this morning have been well done by Kathy Marshall and her team here at the Eno. We also appreciate the Marine Corps League for serving as our color guard today. And thanks too to our vocalists, David Moore and Amy Campolieto, and to Rabbi Becca and to the DAR for their support. I also want to call attention to the many family members and friends of our medal recipients who played a big part behind the scenes dealing with the necessary documents for the ceremony this morning. So please join me in a round of applause for all who have contributed to making this day happen. Thank you. At the front table, I'm joined this morning by our town's chief executive, Simsbury First Selectman Lisa Havener, to my right, that's right, to my right. And then John Hampton, who's the representative in the legislature from the town of Simsbury. And further down, our State Commissioner of Veterans Affairs, Sean Connolly. As we move on to our medal awards program, each of these special guests will have an opportunity to share remarks on this special day. Now I want to call on Lisa Havener for her thoughts. Lisa?
Well, good morning, everyone. It is so nice to see everyone here, to see a full room, and a full room of people we want to honor, and that this country deserves to honor, and that you have earned this honor. It is just such a pleasure to be here. I wanted to echo Bruce's words, and thank Representative Hampton, who organized this. This medal, and Commissioner, let me know if I have it wrong, I think began in 2005. So it's a relatively new honor that the state legislature has passed and is able to give to you, so we're excited to be a part of that. I also wanted to thank obviously the Commissioner for joining us today. It's a great honor to have you in Simsbury, and we welcome you to our great town. I wanted to thank the VFW, the American Legion, and the DAR, who are always our ambassadors to our veterans and who do a great job for the town of Simsbury. I want to thank town staff who did all the setup, including Public Works and those in the Senior Center in which we are right now. I wanted to recognize from the Board of Selectmen Elaine Lang, who's joining us today. Today we are honored to be with you, our veterans and your families, to recognize your valor, service, and sacrifice for our country and our community in Simsbury. You have defended, as our soldiers defend today, our values and our nation. You put your lives on the line in wartime service to our country, for us. Yours is the highest level of service, above and apart, and we are grateful. Your service inspires our whole community. It inspires me to do better. As I look around the room, I'm going to pause and do that because I know so many of you and love so many of you. I see so many humble souls who answered the call to duty without an expectation of accolade, who stepped up in perilous times and continue to serve our community even now. Organizing parades, I'm looking at you, Bob, helping returning veterans, organizing food drives, fundraisings, and building a new Veterans Memorial. Has everyone had a chance to see the construction has begun over by the library? Very proud of our veterans for bringing this to our community, and our thanks to them. And for continuing to live the values you defended. Is this continuing of service that also inspires us. So, if we haven't said it enough, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Before we move on, I need to take a step back. I missed something in my sort of identifying people who helped with this morning, and that was the Abigail Phelps chapter of the DAR is hosting refreshments for us after the service, but in addition has provided for display this morning the new flag that has been adopted to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. And so that's what that flag is right there. If you've never seen it before, it recognizes the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. So, with that said, I want to call now on our state representative, John Hampton, for some remarks. John?
Good morning and welcome. A beautiful day to celebrate and honor the watchmen on the walls of freedom. That's what JFK referenced in his last speech that was never delivered in Dallas. That we all must remain watchmen on the walls of freedom. And all the men we honor here today have done just that for so long. And we can't say thank you enough. On Veterans Day, on Memorial Day, every day, we take for granted the gifts, the freedoms that we have been given, the gifts to worship where we want to worship whom we want to worship, to gather, to give full expression to our free speech, to our ideas, to choose our own government. It is a joyous gift that we celebrate every day. But today we wanted to take pause and honor our Connecticut veterans in yet another way with the Connecticut Wartime Service Medal. And I echo the thanks of Lisa and Bruce Elliott. So many people worked hard to put this event together, especially in my office, Jason Knight and Chandler Henning. And I wanted to thank the members of the VFW and American Legion, of course, the good friends of the DAR, Abigail Phelps chapter, so integral to all that we do. And to our young talent, Ethan Meskel and Kate Campolita, who you can see in The Music Man, I think, right? This week, tonight? Okay. And how wonderful to have our newest member of Simsbury's clergy, Rabbi Goldman, with us to offer us blessings on this special day. But special thanks, and I feel like I still have to welcome him, but he's 2 years commissioner now, over 2 years? 16 months. But Commissioner Connolly has done tremendous work on behalf of our state's veterans in such a short period of time. And we're so honored to have him here today to host the Wartime Service Medal. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome him to Simsbury and let him make a few remarks. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. As a veteran myself, as an active Army Reserve soldier, as your Commissioner of Connecticut's Department of Veterans Affairs, it's a huge honor and privilege for me to be out here in Simsbury to meet some of our amazing veterans here in the local community, some of our 200,000 plus veterans that we have all around the state. As Representative Hampton mentioned, yeah, it's about 16 months. This is, I think, the greatest honor for me is to be able to get out and meet veterans like all of you. I want to thank Representative Hampton First Selectman Havener, Bruce, all the veteran service organizations that have been involved in putting this event together, the Marine Corps League Hardware City Detachment for the Color Guard. It's really partnerships like this that put on this event that have enriched my time as commissioner, and I'm so thankful for that. You know, America's military, as you all know, has been the guardian of our freedom since the birth of the Republic. And it's a special time these last few months, and a great time for us to remember that we have the longest enduring constitutional democracy in the history of the world, and it's our military women and men that have sacrificed to make that so. Men and women like all of you. You know, we think just back to May when we had the Armed Forces Day, the day we recognize those who are currently serving in uniform, out there donning the uniform to protect our security. A week later, we celebrate again Memorial Day, where we honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice, again, out there defending our freedom. Fast forward to June, Armed Forces Day. You know, we think back to the birth of America's Army, back in June of 1775, when our colony's citizen soldiers gathered together to converge on Boston and defend our freedom once again. It's the first generation there that demonstrated that selfless service and sacrifice to protect our way of life. That demonstration that all of you have built upon, that legacy and tradition that all of you have built upon. You know, we think to just last year, we're here in Connecticut and around the country, we celebrated the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II, when millions of Americans went off to defend freedom against tyranny. Any World War II veterans here today? All right, thank you, sir. Among the greatest generation to come back and then continue serving here in our local communities. We think to the Korean War. It's just a little more than 65 years ago that the Korean War began. How many Korean War veterans are here today? And of course, last year we commemorated, this year we continue to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. How many Vietnam War veterans are here today? It's hard to believe I was still young in school, but this is 25 years ago when America led a multinational effort to halt a ruthless dictator and free Kuwait. Any Desert Storm veterans here today? And even harder to believe that 15 years ago, later this year, when we as a nation experienced that horrific attack on our own soil that ultimately led to Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom. How many post 9/11 veterans are here today? Am I the only one? Well, really, it's that legacy that you all have just demonstrated, that service, whether it be in a conflict or during a period of peacetime where you've volunteered to don the uniform, or maybe you didn't volunteer earlier in some of those conflicts, but we thank you for your service. It's tremendous legacy. Here in Connecticut, we have a long legacy of honoring that service going back to 1864, when Connecticut was the first state in the nation to have a veterans home. And we're working hard to build upon that tradition. One of the ways we do that is this medal, and recognizing a small token on behalf of a grateful state and nation for your dedication and your service and your sacrifice, and that real devotion to duty. So it's a real honor for me to be here. I look forward to greeting each of our veterans up here to pin a medal on you. Thank you so much for having me out to Simsbury.
Next, David Bloom, Army, Vietnam. Leonard Fenelon, Navy, Vietnam. Robert Gauthier, Army, Korean conflict. Anthony Giannini, Navy, World War II. Robert Hafner, Air Force, Korean conflict. Thomas Hammock, Army, Korean conflict. Terrence Keefe, Army, Vietnam. Gilbert Kleiner, Army, World War II. James Richardson, Air Force, Vietnam. Thank you. Just read my name in that Air Force.
John Romano, Air Force, Vietnam.
James Rosenberg, Army, Korean conflict. Not here, okay. James not here? All right. Thomas Sorgio, Army, World War II. Harold Sterrett, Air Force, Vietnam. Frederick Stengel, Army, World War II. William Lynch, Navy, Korean conflict. Thomas Tarisco, Navy, Vietnam. James Sparkowski, Marines, Korean conflict. Our next veteran isn't here with us today, but on his behalf, his name is Raymond Banks. He was not able to be here with us, but on his behalf, his nephew, Mark Banks, will come forward to get his award. And Raymond, just so you know, Raymond was Army, Air Force, World War II, and Vietnam. Donald Sigi, I hope I've got that right, Navy, Korean conflict. Elmer Dahl, Navy, Korean conflict. Paul Stein, Army, World War II. Jim Calabrese, Army, Vietnam. Robert Briggs, Marines, World War II. Benjamin Walker, Navy, World War II. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in a round of applause for the veterans that are here who have already received their pin. Thank you.
As we move toward conclusion, let me just mention there's a recipient who wasn't able to be here today, whose name is Joanna Vincent. Joanna Vincent, maybe some of you would recognize her name. She and her husband Elmer, late husband Elmer, have been active in the community for many, many years. Joanna is 90-something years old. She lives still on Plank Hill Road. Joanna has the distinction as a veteran of being a 72-year member of our Legion post. So she's been a member of the Tom Lonnis Hall Post 84 for 72 years. A remarkable achievement, and she's still alive and well. So we think of Joanna today as well as the people that were able to be here in appreciation of their service. So. And now I ask our second vocalist, Kate Lampolita, to join me at the podium and lead us in singing God Bless America. Kate? Please rise.
As the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam, God bless
Retire the colors.
Heritage colors.
I know, I forgot it.
Ready, peace. For her. Hold loud, work.
Comrade Lamb, please retire the POW MIA cover. With one more congratulations to the recipients of the Connecticut Wartime Service Medal, our ceremony is closed this morning, but I remind you to stay for refreshments in the rotunda sponsored by the DAR chapter. Thank you all for coming out this morning. Thank you to the Commissioner, to John Hampton, to Lisa Havner, and to our vocalists. We appreciate everybody being here. Thank you.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.